Well, my name is David Snyder. I'm a local business owner, but also a council member here in Tyrone.
Okay. So how did you know June?
My brother and I lived on Cameron Avenue here in town when we were growing up. And June used to go up that way and hang out with our neighbors all the time, to the point that we actually thought he lived there. I only just learned yesterday that wasn't true, but he was there a lot, and so he would come over and would ultimately become a large part of our childhood.
Okay.
You know, and I can't go downtown right now and not miss him, because he would, whenever he would see me, he would, hey, and wave me down, and he embodied home, for us as a family, just because of that. And I think for a lot of other people too.
How was June like as a child?
I have no idea, because I didn't know him as a child.
Oh.
He was older than me. I'm 36. He was 61. I can tell you that as long as I've known him, so it would be in his 30s, late 20s or 30s when I met him.
Mm-hmm.
He was always and consistently positive, happy, and friendly. I've never seen him not be that way.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure half the town could also, if not all the town, could agree with that statement, him being happy and always cheerful. And
yeah, that's been the general consensus. The more we talk about this, and the more we grieve, the more we reach out, the more we connect with each other over the loss. Everybody had the same experience with June. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's just good. It speaks so much of his character.
And going off that, how would you say he impacted your life and the overall community's life?
He is extremely outgoing. He is so outgoing. And I met him in a time in my life when I wasn't. I was born with epilepsy. I had a learning disability. In this building, I had special ed and all that other stuff, programs that I was a part of because of it. But interacting with June and seeing how outgoing and how friendly he was, it was something to aspire towards, and so there's a lot of people that I can pinpoint that helped me be who I am today, and June is absolutely one of them, if not one of the first.
What did June like to do in his free time or any time?
He rode a bike around town like no one's business. This is dating a little bit, and this is before my time, but my parents knew Bicycle Harry, who's, I believe that was his name, Bicycle Harry. He would go around town and he would fix people's bikes, and my parents' bikes were one of them. But he was a similar guy, where he was riding around town and he just connected with everybody. He did it for free, to the point that his bike's in the museum right now here in town.
Really?
June put me in mind of him, where he went around, he didn't fix people's bikes, but he was always biking around town, and he would stop, take time out of his day to make yours a bit brighter. I don't know if that's what he meant to do, but he certainly did it.
Yeah.
So,
he would always come into just local businesses and always talk and always, be respectful and kind and cheer you up,
And whenever, and I remember this because I would be in Gardeners, for example, and they're one of the ones that chimed in on this, and they said that this is a huge loss for them because they're so used to it. It was a staple. Every day he would come in. Well, I would go in and I would get cashews, because I love cashews. I also like motorways, let's be honest. But Jude would be talking to them, and of course he would stop and talk to me whenever I'm in there. But he was also he wasn't rude at all. He would move slightly out of the way. He was courteous. I miss him so much. So,
my name's Kristen Barrett. I'm the store manager at Gardeners Candies.
How did you know June?
I knew June for 24 years from visiting the store many times throughout the year, many times throughout the week, many times throughout the day.
How has he impacted your life and the community's life?
June was always very positive. He was an upbeat person. He always informed us what was going on in town. and what was going on in his life, and always asked about our lives, and always offered prayer.
What did June like to do?
June loved to ride his bike. That was his favorite thing. But he would also like to hang out in one of the booths out back with Eddie Moyer, and that happened on a daily basis.
What made June stand out from everyone else and become liked all around?
June just had a friendly personality. If you were down the street, he would holler your name and say, "Hey, Kristen, how are you doing?" Just a friendly, great guy all around.
Do you have anything else to add?
June is going to be missed deeply here at our store because he was a fixture every day. And I know myself and my staff are all going to really miss him because he was such a good guy.
What made June stand out from everyone else and become liked all around town?
His outlook on life, I think. He was, like I said before, he was incredibly positive. In a world that is so typically negative, you know, we have mass media that, whether we're reporting truth or not necessarily, but even if it's true reporting, it's always reporting on negative events. It's so rarely about something positive, and he had that aspect to life. He was able to give you a positive outlook. I mean, I can't tell you how many times he stopped me on a bad day. I'm talking about a bad day. You know, and he somehow made me walk away from our conversation as if like there was nothing wrong, you know, because there wasn't. You know, it was typically in our heads whenever stuff like that happens, right? You know, but his outlook, I think, was very contagious at a time when it was very much needed.
Do you have anything else to add?
It's only been a handful of days. I think at this point it's only been about 4 days since I learned of his loss, which I believe was like 12 or so hours after it happened. And there hasn't been a moment, and I work downtown and I work through town, and there hasn't been a moment when I go and I look for him and I catch myself. The only thing I would say is, and this is what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to take the example, that what June did, point blank simply, was to not look down on their phone, on his phone, or be so consumed with what he's listening to, having earbuds in or whatever, but he reached out to people. He said hi, even if it was just to say hi. I am making it even more of a point, in honor of him, to do more of that. And to remind myself of that, because I know, as someone that works in tech, I look at my phone a lot, you know, because that's my job, you know, and that's becoming more and more everyone's job these days. You have to be involved in that way, and that's perfectly fine. But I can't remember who said this, but June embodied it. It was, remember to look up and to engage with people, because that's life. It could pass you by.